Right, everybody, man, I tell you, here at Strong Inspirations, I bring it to you straight, no chaser. Oh my God, I find some people, and I got a guy on my channel today. Look at it, if you can see the picture behind him. When you see the picture, you're gonna know what I'm talking about. He is of royalty, baseball royalty, all right? And so before I have him come on, do me a favor, my brothers and sisters in the Strong Inspirations family, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button on this video for sure, hit that notifications bell, so because I'm uploading 3, 4, 5 videos a week, and you get a little ding or something like that to let you know a video was on there. Because see, I ain't gonna tell you when I'm gonna upload it. Because see, I get the video, I might put a little edit on it or something like that, cut out the phone ring or whatever. And because I want to make sure I give you this information as succinctly as possible, so that it come right at you and I don't confuse you, because you know what I mean. And so I put a little edit on it, but I might, as soon as I put the edit, I put it out. It might be a Sunday night. But in any event, I want you to be on it so that you can see this stuff. And I try not to make them too long, too. You know, I want to get right to the point, right? So come on and do that. And then, as you might know, I got a movie out. I'm a filmmaker. And my movie is called Business in the Black, The Rise of Black Business in America. We talking about Black folks owning businesses back in the early 1800s. I'm talking about slaves and the enslaves, and non-people who weren't slaves owning businesses. And it's 75 minutes long, so it ain't too long, but it's good stuff. It's really good. Not just because I did it, but I had some people tell me they like it, right? And it's streaming on Amazon. So you can watch it there or get the hard copy too. And then, you know, I wrote a book titled Black Business Book, which got over 200 facts. Now, the movie got some interviews. The book don't have that. It just got these facts, and I give it to you straight, man. I don't even put no commentary on it. I just give you a fact. And one of the facts is going to lead into my guest today. There was a guy by the name of Ruby Foster. He is considered the godfather of the Negro League baseball. And I got it in here, and I'm going by memory. I think I got it right. This guy he gonna explain that, I'm sure, because that is the lead in. We're gonna talk about them brothers that was playing baseball in the Negro League. Unbelievable stuff, man. You can't hold us down. We figure out a way around it. And then you want us involved because we so good. So then you get us and you put us in the white league, and then you know what happens. The Negro League kind of go by the wayside, so to speak. But nonetheless, my book is available on Amazon also. But if you want to cut out that big guy at Amazon, just go to my website. We ain't got to give him no money. He got enough money. And so my website is inspirationsbystrong.com. Come on, folks, go ahead and order that book, order that movie. I really appreciate it, and I'll autograph it too. And that might mean something, you know, when you get a little later in life and, you know, you heard about me and all that kind of good stuff. But what happened was, I know a guy who, he's on the show. He told me about the guy that's going to be on the show. I call him up. Now, I ain't gonna lie to you, my friends. It took me a few weeks to get to this brother because he jamming. he got a foundation and stuff. He running around the country talking about, and introduce yourself, and then y'all know who he talking about. Come on, let's go, my friend.
Well, I appreciate it for having me on the show, my fellow A5 brother. And as he mentioned, we talked about Ruth Foster. My name is Sean Gibson. I'm the great grandson of Josh Gibson, the photo you see behind my shoulder. I live here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and I run the Josh Gibson Foundation. So I'm excited to be here today. Talk a little bit about the Negro Leagues, about Josh Gibson, some of the things we got going on around Josh Gibson as well.
All right, let me go back now. Hold on, before I go to the Josh Gibson story. What isn't the guy named Ruby Foster? Is that right? Right?
Foster, yep.
Yeah, he's the guy, black man. Did he start Negro League? He was one of the instrumental starters of the Negro League baseball.
Was the mastermind behind 1920 was a year, February 13th, right before Valentine's Day, is the actual founding date of the Negro Leagues is in existence. So last year would have been our 100th anniversary,
Wow.
2020, but due to the COVID and the pandemic, it kind of messed everything up and kind of pushed things back to this year. So we're hoping to have some celebrations for 2021. But yeah, Ruth Foster, he also was a pitcher and he also played for the Chicago American Giants. And I'm glad you brought his name up because, you know, during this whole centennial year, Ruth Foster, I felt thinking about it, didn't get enough credit. Because if it wasn't for Ruth Foster, I believe there would be no Josh Gibson. So I believe that he was the one who instrumental to get these black ball players an opportunity to play and for us to still talk about these guys 100 years down the road.
Yeah, that's beautiful. So now what happened was when they had the white baseball league, right? That was going on.
The major leagues, yeah.
Major league. The major leagues was going on at that time.
Yep.
And so they said, you know, like all the other, you know, what they said, we ain't gonna have no Negroes playing with us. And
yeah, so basically, yeah, Kennesaw Mountain Landis, who was the commissioner at the time, denied African Americans an opportunity to play baseball with the major leaguers.
Right.
So, like I said, Ruth Foster said, okay, well, you know, we don't have to play in your league. We'll start our own league. And not only will we start our own league, our players will be a lot of our players better than yours.
Yeah, sure.
And so that's how, and they say, as they always say, and the rest is history.
Yeah. So did black people, were they able to have a catcher's mitt, you know, baseball glove? I mean to say, did they have baseball gloves, and was it a normal baseball at the time?
Yeah, I mean, the Negro Leagues was just like any other business. The Negro Leagues was the third largest business, black-owned business in the country at that time.
Ooh.
Number one was black insurances, because everybody had to have insurance. Of course, health insurance and life insurance. That was Madam C.J. Walker was number one.
Yeah.
We all know who she is. She was number one. Then it was health insurance, North Carolina health insurance, black businesses getting the health insurance and people getting financially health insurance. And then it was the Negro League. So they're the third largest organized minority black-owned business in the country at the time. And so when you talk about the Negro Leagues, I mean, they had the same equipment as the major leaguers did. Now, I would say transportation-wise might have been a little different. There are buses and stuff like that. But, you know, their uniforms, you know, if you see the picture behind me, that's a wool uniform. It ain't cotton or it ain't polyester, it's wool. So these guys play, it's hot. And not only is it hot, you know, they played down south, as we all know, and they didn't just play one game. They played 2 and 3 games in some days. And so
9 innings?
9 innings. But yeah, Josh had, you know, the regular catcher's equipment, glove, mask, chest protector, shin guards. He had all the stuff the same guys Major League Baseball players had.
So now what happened? So how does a black guy know how to play baseball in those times? I mean, you know, the Jim Crow thing was going strong and all that kind of stuff. Did they play when they were playing, like when they were little kids? They played in the field and, you know, had a stick ball and that kind of thing.
Yeah, they play sandlot ball. So a lot of these Negro League baseball players play sandlot ball. And that's when my grandfather started playing. He played sandlot ball first with the Pittsburgh Crawford sandlot team. And then he got moved up to the Homestead Grays, which is the professional ranks. I mean, but you know, as we always say.
Stop you there. How old was he at that time when he started?
Well, first, let me go back. So Josh Gibson is actually from a small town called Buena Vista, Georgia.
Okay, now we going there. Yeah, good.
And he was 11 years old when he moved to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. His father, my great-great-grandfather, found work here in the steel mills. And people always ask that question, what made your family come to Pittsburgh, being from Buena Vista, Georgia? Well, just like anybody else, we all have friends. So My great-great-grandfather, a friend of his, had family here in Pittsburgh. He came up here first. He got a job. Of course, he called back home, called my grandfather's name was Mark Gibson. He called him up, said, hey man, up here up north, they're hiring, bring your family up. He doesn't bring the family the first time. He goes up first to make sure everything is cool. Once he gets the job and he gets himself established, and that's when he sends for the rest of the family. So that's how we migrated from Buena Vista, Georgia to Pittsburgh. Josh had an older brother. Sorry, Josh was the oldest. He had a younger brother named Jerry Gibson. And then his sister was Annie Gibson. And so there was 3 children. And so when they moved here, he started playing baseball and ran track and was a great swimmer. So he started playing baseball when he got here. So he was, I'm assuming, I'm pretty sure he's already playing in Buena Vista. Well, it's not even that. It's hardball, fast pitch. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Are they wearing helmets?
They're wearing uniforms and helmets. Yep.
They got those metal helmets that they wear now. You think they just had baseball?
I doubt it. You know that they didn't have those 30 years ago.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm thinking. So that's just a baseball hat.
Yeah. It probably was something. You know, it might have been. You know, remember the old football helmets was leather. Remember?
Yeah.
So
you got to worry you don't get hit.
Yeah.
I'm somewhere along the line.
Right.
Yeah.
But again, that's all they knew. You know, I mean, when we're 30 more years, when we're old, it's going to be some new technology where
sure. Yeah,
the helmet might lift off by itself.
Yeah, no, there's no question. But I played Little League baseball. I was scared of getting hit by the ball. I ain't stand too close to the plate, so if my back can get there, I'm good. But so nonetheless, so now he is he a big guy? Is Josh Gibson a big guy?
Yeah, big. He's 6'2", about 210, about 210.
Was he
solid?
For some reason, I always thought he was muscular or something.
Yeah, I was about to say he's solid. He's all muscle. We used to have a description where he's remember they had the old time bathing suits. The men used to wear old time bathing suits, had tank tops.
Yeah.
And my grandfather on one of his photos, Josh Gibson Jr., had a description and said, "No steroids, just milk."
Yeah.
Well, he was very muscular. I mean, he had big if you look at some of his old he had big forearms too. You see all the veins coming through. He was very muscular.
Yeah. So do you think at some point he thinks that I want to make a career out of playing baseball or something like that? Or is his dad saying, hey man, that's just something to do on the side. You got to come and work in the steel mill.
Well, no, I think that was something he wanted to do because I think once he started playing, now again, you realize he's still in school when he started playing baseball. You know, he only had a ninth grade education. And so how he got discovered was he was already known in the sandlot industry. The story is that he was actually at a Homestead Grays game, him and some of his buddies. This is 1932. The catcher, Buck Ewing, gets hurt during the game of the Homestead Grays. Judy Johnson, who's the player manager of the Grays, sees Josh and his friends in the stands. He goes to Josh and asks him would he like to fill in for Buck Ewing. Of course, Josh says, sure. They put him in the locker room, suit him up. And as they say, the rest is history. Never left the game since.
Now, what kind of you said locker room? I mean, they were that sophisticated?
Yeah, they had locker rooms. They had locker rooms. You got to realize they played their games at Forbes Field, where the Pirates played at.
Really?
Yeah. A lot of these players, I think that that's what I'm saying. I'm glad we're on here. A lot of these games were actually played at Major League Baseball stadiums.
Oh, I
mean, they played
that.
at Griffin Stadium in DC. Yeah, they played at Josh is known for hitting the furthest ball in Yankee Stadium. So he played in the Yankee Stadium. Yeah, these guys ain't played. They didn't play no rinky-dink field. They played in the same.
I was thinking that because there's a baseball field here near in Detroit near where I live, but it ain't the Tiger Stadium. It's just a baseball field.
Hamtramck. I'm familiar with that Hamtramck.
Yeah.
They played. I mean, some had don't get me wrong. Some had their own. Like for instance, the owner of the Pittsburgh Croppers was a guy named Gus Greenlee. Gus Greenlee was a millionaire. He was a numbers man, as we call the lottery now.
Yeah, sure.
That's how he made his money.
Sure.
and he also owned the Crawford Grill. Now he built his own stadium. He built his own stadium. Now, was it like the Yankees? No, it was about a 7,500, 7,500 attendance capacity. But he was smart though. He built this because he didn't want, because you got to rent those other stadiums out. He's like, why would I pay these white folks all this money to rent their stadium? I could build my own and get all the money.
Yeah.
So they did, like Hamtramck. So they did have smaller stadiums like that, but also they played in the major league stadiums as well. They played at Griffin Stadium in DC.
That's beautiful. Yeah. So now, if like what time would a game start or something, and then and then 9 innings, and then you got 2 games of that's all day.
Yeah, when I say 2 games, it's not usually back to back. So what I'm saying, they may have a game in the afternoon. Say for instance, a Saturday, they may have a 1 o'clock game. Then they may have a 6 o'clock game. I'm talking about like that.
Yeah, but I mean, we got double hitters now. Yeah, so
right. If they have a double hitter, it might be in the day. But most of the games, so if you look at some of the old pictures of the Negro Leagues, if you look at the stands, all the people in the stands are dressed up. They got on suits and ties, and ladies had on nice dresses. So when they would come to these games, it wasn't just about the game. This was a day. This was an outing for them. You know what I mean? It's like going to an outing. Yeah. And at least here in Pittsburgh, what they would do is they would go to the games. Then at night after the game, they all go to the Crawford Grill, and the players would meet them there. So it was a big thing here in Pittsburgh.
Oh, I can't imagine. So now, how much did it cost to get into a game? I saw some the old programs, 25 cents for the program. I don't know how much it costs to get in the game. I'm probably sure a couple of $1.75. I don't have an old ticket, anything. And we're talking about 1930s, 1940s. Right. So you can't be talking about a lot of money, a couple of dollars, $2.50 if that. But I did see an old book with Satchel Paige on. It was a program book. It was 25 cents. Now, when you talk about the teams, you talking? Can you give me an idea of like how many teams were they, and what cities were they in?
I can't go through all of them, but put it like this: there's no cities on the West Coast. I mean, no teams on the West Coast. All of them was either in the South, North, and Midwest. There were 4 divisions. There was the Negro Leagues, the Negro National Leagues, the American Negro Leagues, and then I can't think of the last one off the top of my head. So there were 4 different divisions. They had over, 60, 70 teams. These teams were thriving. Yeah, this was, like I said, this was the 3rd largest business in America, Black-owned business in America.
Yeah, I like it.
And so this was not just no rinky-dink. It started off when Rube Foster started in 1920. It started off with only 7 teams. That was the original 7. And the one, of course, Dayton, Kansas City, Chicago, I can't remember the other ones. There was the original 7.
And then those are more the northern cities.
Right.
Okay. And
then it grew, then it grew from there. I mean, but you had teams from Birmingham, Pittsburgh, DC, Cleveland, Detroit, Philly.
Yeah.
You had the New York teams, you had some Cuban teams, the Cuban Giants.
And they played out of Cuba, or they came to America and played?
Came to America, but it was Cubans.
Yeah. Ooh, I know they were good.
Atlanta. So it was very well diverse as far as talent, as far as cities and states as well too. So and these guys were on buses traveling. They didn't have airplanes back. Well, they did, but they wasn't flying. They was on buses going back and forth to different cities.
Now, is there one league? One Negro league and all these teams, even though they had divisions, or did some other brother say, well, hey man, I ain't letting you do it, and he starts his own league? Was there just one league?
No. So what I'm saying is those leagues, when I name those leagues, those are the names that changed over the years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, those are the names that changed. So it was always under one Negro leagues, but they had different, as you grow, you change your name. You know what I mean? Your name had changed. So that's what I mean, right.
Oh, but it's still one league.
Still one league, exactly.
One league. Okay. Did they have
They had their championship in Chicago at Comiskey Park. That's where the championship was at.
Every year for the most part?
For the most part, right.
And so they had playoffs to see who had the best record.
It was a league, yeah, just like Major League Baseball. Wasn't nothing different.
Who was one of the better teams? Was there a team known to be the better team?
Yeah, of course. Pittsburgh and Kansas City probably two. Well, the Homestead Grays, put it like this: the Homestead Grays from 1937 to 1945, they won 9 pennants in a row. Homestead Grays is actually out of Pittsburgh, so Pittsburgh had 2 teams.
Oh, did they? Okay.
A Homestead is another borough outside of Pittsburgh.
Okay.
And then we had the Pittsburgh Crawford. So the Pittsburgh Crawford's 1935-36 team is considered one of the greatest teams of all time because they had 5 Hall of Famers on my team. They had Josh Gibson, Cool Papa Bell, Judy Johnson, Oscar Charleston, and Satchel Paige was on that team. 1930, they won the championship that year.
All stars right there.
Shoot. Right. So the Monarchs were good, yeah, there were several good teams. Detroit had a good team. Detroit Stars. Actually, there's still a Negro League player that's still living, Ron Teasley, who lives in Detroit. Ron's in his 90s.
Yeah. How many games did they play in the season?
Good point. So recently, Major League Baseball just made the announcement to include Negro League stats into their record books. Yeah. December 16th, they did that. And so people always ask me now, will Josh Gibson be the home run king? Because Josh hit over 800 home runs in his career.
He did how many?
800.
Oh, really?
So he will not be the home run king because of the way they're doing the statistics is that they're only taking the games that the players played in the Negro leagues. A lot of Negro League players played in the Latin countries. So Josh played in Cuba, Venezuela, Puerto Rico, Mexico. He's in the Hall of Fame in He's in the Hall of Fame in Mexico. He was the MVP in Puerto Rico in 41-42. He was the MVP in Mexico as well. So when you calculate his home runs, it's not just the Negro leagues. So when they did the data, it's about 70 to 80 games that they played in the Negro League. So about half of what Major League Baseball played.
Right. So they would start when and then when would it be the World Series, let's say?
Oh, just like baseball, September, October will be the World Series.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
so what they would do is, like for instance, my grandfather, he would play in the Negro Leagues in the spring and the summer. And then go overseas in what they call winter ball over to the Latin countries. So he'll play. So the Negro League, basically, a lot of players, they call it never drop the ball. They will play baseball year round.
Ooh. Let me ask you this, and I always got to throw this dig and then white folks do something. Did the white folks do something? Are there instances where, the bus is driving down the highway and they try to run the bus off, or they burn crosses in front of the stadiums? I've never heard anything where they tried to run any buses off, but of course they had the crosses. They ran through them. My grandfather Junior used to tell me a lot of stories of when they went down south, dealing with the racism. One, when they would go down south, they couldn't stay in the hotels. Yeah. So
the local communities, like your great grandmother's house or whoever's house is in that community that near the stadium, they would stay at their houses. So the community, I think that's what the great part about the Negro Leagues is that it wasn't just about the Negro League, it was about our Black race.
Yeah.
And so when they would come into these cities and knowing they can't stay in certain hotels, the community embraced them, opened the doors for them to stay at their house. And so, but yeah, they ran a lot through the KKK, nothing violent, but, definitely cross burnings, of course, being called the niggas word, the N word. And, my grandfather told me about one time they threatened my grandfather. If he go to the game, this and that, they're going to kill him.
Oh, really?
Central Page been threatened. They get the death threats, but, it is what it is.
Do you imagine that white people attend the games?
Oh, yeah. We got, and I just say that because there's photos that you can see white folk, like for instance, the All-Star game, not the All-Star, the championship game at Comiskey Park. You see a lot of the pictures that we get, you see a lot of white folks there. Oh. Yeah, they be there.
How about this one? Did any white folks try to infiltrate the management? Like, was there any white owners of teams or, you
I
know,
mean, that's
hey,
a great
Rugi,
question.
you know, we want to cut, you know, how the mafia do or whatever.
One white owner, J.L. Wilkinson. He was the owner of the Kansas City Monarchs. Now, Effa Manley, who's a female owner, married a black guy. They owned the Newark Eagles. She was white, but she passed as black. She portrayed herself as a black woman. So if you were officially two white owners, but yeah, that was it. But everybody else was black.
There weren't any white players, I'm sure. Well, none of them tried to get in.
Not that I know. There's a guy that goes around saying he played in the Negro League, said he's white, but he's like your age, man. If you ain't 90-something years old, you ain't played in the Negro Leagues, man.
So they can discount him right off the bat.
I mean, what happened is first of all, officially the Negro Leagues folded in 1950. Jackie Robinson breaks the color barrier in 47, right? Once he breaks it over, you got Larry Doby who goes next, and you got Roy Campanella, you know, all the other great players start going. The Negro Leagues were still going on. 1950 really is like the official year, but you still had some cities and teams still playing.
So now, did Josh ever make it to the big leagues, to the white leagues? He
died in 47. He died the same year. Matter of fact, Jackie went up that summer. Josh died January of 47, and Jackie went up that spring of 47.
How old was he when he passed?
35 years old, brain tumor.
Oh my God! But Satchel Paige made it up, didn't he?
Yeah, Satch made it. Yeah, Satch made it in his 40s with Cleveland.
He's 40 years old, still playing.
In his 40s. And so I always tell people, and I think he was a pitcher. I think he won 6 games. He was like 6-2. His record was like 6-2. But I just tell people the greatness. So you figure like, we talk about the Negro Leagues talent, right? And you talk about, take a guy like Satchel Paige, who was well past his prime, who still made it to the majors and did very well in the majors. Just imagine what he would have done in his 20s.
Oh, for sure. You know, it's funny. You hear stories, and I'm sure this may be more of a comical or something like that. Satchel Paige would tell them, all the people in the outfield, sit down. They can't get no hit on me. Yeah. You ever heard that story?
He did that against Josh and struck him out.
But I thought they were on the same team.
Well, no. You played. So Satch played primarily with the Kansas City Monarchs. 1 year he played with Pittsburgh. Okay. It's just like any other team. You get traded, you know.
They even had trades and stuff.
Yeah. This ain't they just, I'm telling you, man, this is the real deal. So Josh played for 2 teams. It just happened to be the 2 teams in Pittsburgh. He played for the Crawfords and the Homestead Grays. So no, you can get traded. Yeah, Satch played with the Monarchs most of his career, but he also played here in Pittsburgh 1 year, 2 years.
And he stuck Josh Gibson out.
Yeah, he struck him out, but believe me, Josh got him a couple times too.
I can't imagine. Now, so Josh, when he got up there, I hope you don't mind our analogy, Josh would be like who now in terms of a home run Hank Aaron, that type guy. He was that formidable.
No, when he was compared a lot to Bo Jackson, when Bo Jackson played. Well, I shouldn't say he was compared. Bo Jackson was compared to Josh Gibson.
Yeah, sure.
And it was just more of his figure and his power and his speed. So yeah. But somebody right now, I would say, I don't know right now, but another past player I would go with, like, remember Ryan Howard from the Phillies?
Yeah, okay.
Would be somebody like a Josh Gibson type person.
Okay. Okay, I got you.
Yeah, somebody like that. Close maybe Prince Fielder, Cecil Fielder's son, but he's a little bigger than Josh right now, but the power. So you got guys that kind of portray that can you can look at MLB players now that can kind of focus how Josh will be like in the majors.
And Josh is, let's say, one of his best years. How many home runs did he have in one of the best seasons?
84.
How many?
84 home runs in 1 year. He had 84 1 year and 75 1 year.
Ooh, that's pretty good.
Now, getting back to the stats, right now, if it stands, right now, Josh will be the all-time single-season batting average leader. In 1943, Josh hit 441. That'll break the record. The record right now is 440.
They happy to get 300.
Yeah.
So he didn't
yeah.
just hit home runs. He was able to hit for average and everything.
Anybody with 400, you bad.
You bad.
Yeah.
My God. How did you find out that he was your great grandfather initially? What was there pictures around the house or something like that? Or when they brought you in, they said, "Hey, young man, let me tell you how great you are." You know, what have you?
You know what? I tell the story all the time. When I was younger, just any other like family reunions and family gatherings, holiday gatherings, you would hear family members talking about, and they called him, in our family, he was known as Big Josh, because again, my grandfather was Josh Jr. So you hear a lot of stories about Big Josh this, Big Josh that. And as a kid, to me, it's just conversation. You know what I mean? I'm not really, I'm 9, 10 years old. I'm not really focusing on that. I'm hearing the stories. And so when I was 12 years old, I was doing a project, and it required me to take out a book off the library. And I'm working on a project with a group of people. And one of the guys, he finds a Josh Gibson book in the library. And I remember him bringing the book to the table. He said, "Hey, man, ain't this your grandfather?" And I'm like, "Wow, yeah." So I take the book out and I take the book home to my mother. And she's like, "Oh, yeah, that's Big Josh." I think that was the first, because, we're talking about in the 80s and early 80s. And, you see your family member on a book, in a book that's like big, right?
No question, yeah.
And so that was the first time I realized, like, oh, it's not just about Big Josh. It's more than just about Big Josh.
Yeah.
So I would say around 12 years old, and I really start figuring out. Then after that, I went to my grandfather Jr., and then that's where I started getting my history lesson from him.
As we, kind of come to a close, let me ask: how was his personal life, if I may ask? Was he married?
Did
he have kids?
Yeah.
So I'll start from a bunch of women. I mean, whatever you want to tell us, but
yeah. No, I'll start from the beginning. He didn't have a bunch of women. He had 2 actually that we know of. But one, his wife. Josh met his wife at 17 years old, which is my great grandmother, Helen. She got pregnant, and she died. She died giving birth to their children. So she never saw their children. She died giving birth to the twins. They had twins, a boy-girl twin. The twins were named after the parents. So that's how you got Josh Jr. And then my aunt was named Helen after the mother. So it was Josh Jr. and Helen were the twins. They were raised by their mother's family while my grandfather continued his baseball career. So the Mason family, which is our sisters and our mother, raised the twins. And so my grandfather, Junior, was also a bat boy. So that's how I got a lot of these stories. He was a bat boy, so he saw a lot. He was a bat boy, but to his father died. His father died when he was 15 years old. So he was a bat boy. So he told me all the stories about the money they would get, meal money, the racism, the death threats, all those stories. He related those to me. Now, as far as a family man, he was a great family man. He loved his family, loved his children. My grandfather, Junior, always felt that his sister got the short end of the stick, though, because, again, like I told you at the beginning, they played baseball all year round.
Yeah.
And she didn't get a chance to spend much time with her father. Junior did because he was a bat boy, so he traveled with him over the summer. So he got a lot more time with his dad.
Yeah, that's good.
But the one thing we always knew is that, one, like I said, he was a great family man. He was very into etiquette, how you set the tables and table setting. The young ladies in the family, he was very into their etiquette of how you should be in front of a man, have your legs crossed, how you should be dressed. He was a very well-dressed guy, always neat. He liked to collect souvenirs. When he would travel to Cuba and Venezuela and Mexico, he was always bringing back souvenirs as collectibles. And so he liked to dance. He was a great dancer. He liked to dance. So those are some of the personal stories that I've heard through my family about him off the field.
How about this? Is he a celebrity where he likes the limelight and all that kind of, you know what I mean? And he goes out and he partying and throwing money around or whatever? That wasn't him.
Very laid back. him and Satchel Paige was Satchel Paige was very flamboyant. Satch was out there. Josh was real low key, laid back. He was more of a jokester, happy lucky type guy.
Okay.
But very laid back. He did drink. You know what I mean? There's rumors of him being, he died of a broken heart and things like that. Josh had a brain tumor. A broken heart don't kill nobody.
Yeah.
But yeah, was he a social drinker? Yeah, he drank. He was a social drinker.
Yeah, sure.
But no, he wasn't that type of person. Actually, the Crawford Grill had apartments above the grill, the bar. And he had one of them up there. That was one of his apartments. He also had a house. There were stories where he would there would be guys drunk at the bar. Instead of them going home, he'd let them go up in his apartment and sleep up there. Yeah, so he's very generous with his money. He wouldn't just give it out like that, but if somebody in need, yeah, but no, very happy-go-lucky type guy. Not very serious, just, but very modest, a very modest type man. Yeah.
And did he was he considered wealthy for the day? A good living?
Yeah, so we have a contract where, not a contract, where Josh was making $6,000 a year. So back then, that's a lot of money.
Okay.
So Satchel Paige and Josh Gibson are two highest paid baseball players in the Negro League. And not just because of their contract, but they also get what they call gate money. So wherever they travel to, they will also get half of it. Now, I don't say how much, I don't know how much it was, but part of the gate money because they were such a big draw.
Okay.
People were coming to see those key players. So they know, they're like, okay, look, we know they're coming to see us, so we want some of this gate money as well.
Okay, I got you. I like it.
Now, I will say this, Josh made more money overseas than he did here. We have articles where he didn't want to come back to the United States. He wanted to stay overseas, one, because he's making better money, and two, they had to deal with the racism like they had to deal with the United States. And they were very loved over in Latin countries. But Cumberland Posey threatened to sue him if he didn't come back, so he came on back.
I got you. So now you've taken the mantle. Did you found the foundation, or you just now was it already in place and now you're the guy that's kind of taking it over?
My grandfather, Josh Gibson Jr., actually founded it.
Okay.
He actually founded the foundation and got all the paperwork. But I've been running it ever since. So I've been involved with the foundation since I got out of college. I graduated from college in 1995. I got involved with the foundation in 97 and been running with it since. And so right now we have over 300 kids in our program. We have 3 locations here in the city of Pittsburgh. We are a partner to Pittsburgh Public Schools, City of Pittsburgh, and
I like it.
Housing Authority. And so we have our Josh Gibson MVP campaign show. You can find our website. This is
okay. I like it.
joshgibson.org. But yeah, it's my grandfather had a vision, and his vision was that he wanted to not only keep his father's legacy alive, but all the other great Negro League baseball players in the Pittsburgh area, and especially the 2 black teams, the Crawfords and the Graves. That was his vision, and I took his vision and put it all together.
And so he's in the Hall of Fame, I'm sure. Josh Gibson is
72. The second player, Satchel Paige, went in 71, and Josh went in 72. Now I will say this where we go. There's a famous speech. Everybody knows who Ted Williams is, Boston Red Sox.
Right.
There's a famous speech about Ted Williams that he mentioned. So 1965, Ted Williams goes into the Hall of Fame. During his Hall of Fame speech, he mentions one day he hopes the likes of Josh Gibson and Satchel Paige are inducted into the Hall of Fame. These guys should not be denied the opportunity because of the color of their skin. 5 years later, Satch goes in. My grandfather always credited Ted Williams for helping get in the Negro League baseball players.
I got you. Everybody, this is what we do on Strong Inspirations, man. I tell you, I'm sitting here with my mouth open like, whoa, I heard of Josh. And I think probably the biggest connection that brought Negro League baseball was Bingo Long and the All-Stars. You know, that movie, and what was that, Richard Pryor and a
yeah,
few
but that
other
movie
people.
there though, and don't get me wrong, it was a but that to me it didn't really portray, because again, the Big Long Traveling All-Stars, it was more of, there was a team called the Indianapolis Clowns, right? And they were considered like the Harlem Globetrotters.
Yeah, that's what it looked like.
Right. And so they kind of portrayed it as the Negro Leagues as a joke. You know what I mean? They're clowning around. And,
Yeah, that I agree with you.
yeah, but the Negro Leagues, like a lot of people was upset about that because the Negro Leagues was like I'm telling you, like you didn't, a lot of stuff I'm telling you, didn't know it was a thriving league. You know, these guys were serious, man. This ain't no okey doke, happy go lucky, just playing.
Yeah,
No,
that was
man,
the
these guys
impression
was
I
getting
got.
contracts and getting paid and getting traded. This was a real deal.
Yeah.
And so yeah, that movie though. You know, it was kind of a more like a like a jokester type.
Yeah,
movie.
right. Everybody, now we done learned something new before we shut it down. I thought that was the case. Brother, I really appreciate you coming on the channel. Everybody, I'm gonna put the website on the in the descriptions. Let's get one of them t-shirts. Let's support the cause. Do y'all have an event? Besides the virus, do y'all have an event? You know, some annual something that you do? Maybe a baseball game. I don't know.
Yeah, no. So like I said, last year was a centennial year, and we had several events planned for last year.
Yeah, sure.
So all those got switched to this year. So we have 3 major events going on this year, which is one will be in August, which will be our Josh Gibson Youth Classic, ages 11 and 12. All the teams will be wearing Negro League uniforms.
Ooh,
That'll be at Josh Gibson Field. That'll be in August. And then in October is our gala weekend, which is our big fundraisers, which will have a symposium on October 29th.
Okay.
And our gala is October 30th.
Okay.
Our gala, we usually get a high profile athlete. We give out an award called the Josh Gibson Legacy Award.
Okay, I like
and
that.
Our previous has been from Lou Brock to Monty Irvin, Juan Marshall, Barry Bonds.
I like
it. Family, Reggie Jackson. So this is a high profile event that we do. Yeah. But all that's on our website, joshgibson.org.
Okay,
the MVP website is jg20mvp.com.
Yeah.
There's a petition, you can sign it. And behind the MVP is, real quick before we go, is that back last year, several former MVP players came out, which was Terry Larkin, Barry Larkin, Terry Pendleton, and Mike Schmidt came out and said that Kennesaw Mountain Landis' name should be removed off of the MVP award. As I mentioned earlier, Kennesaw Mountain Landis was the first commissioner of Major League Baseball. And his name, it was called the Kennesaw Landis Memorial MVP Award that each MVP player gets from the National League and the American League. Mm-hmm. Well, back in October, the Baseball Writers Association did the first step and removed his name off of it. So this past year, the MVP had no name on it. The 3 names are considered renaming the MVP after is Branch Rickey, Frank Robinson, and Josh Gibson. So that's the whole reason about the MVP campaign shirts.
Yes. Oh, that's good stuff, man. Everybody on Strong Inspirations, I tell you, I just try to come up with some questions, but the people know what they're talking about. And so, brother, I thank you so very much for being on this channel. Man, I like it, man. I like what you're talking about. Everybody, I'm telling you, not all the stories is about some negativity, man. That guy, his great grandpa,
somebody getting killed.
Good.
All right.
He was good. He had special talent, and all the other brothers that played in them leagues, that know they were good also. So I say to you this, I wish that, and I hope and I pray that you stay strong, that you stay safe, that you stay on your grind, helping them young kids to understand baseball and all the good things that you do. Everybody, Strong Inspirations, subscribe, like, hit bell, whatever, read my book, watch my movie, but tell somebody about what we're doing here. We sharing this good Black history. And so with that, I say goodbye and have a blessed day.